quite excited to have because this woman has had such an interesting career. And not just, obviously, starting strong, MMA fighter, to doing this incredible movie Haywire, which I love, directed by Steven Soderbergh, to doing Fast and Furious, to doing Deadpool, to doing The Mandalorian. I mean, she has covered so much ground, and we're going to talk about this. So, before I bring her out here, this is her first Comic-Con, guys. So, I mean, we nerds know how great the con is, and we want her to keep coming back for MEGACON after MEGACon after event, right? So it's really, you guys gotta carry this, all right? So, make a lot of noise for Gina Carano! Welcome on stage. This little dude over here was bouncing up and down. I loved it. I like your energy, my young friend. That's awesome. Yeah, that's right. Thank you. How you doing?
I'm so nervous.
Are you?
Public speaking for me is just one of the biggest animals in my life to conquer. So
Yeah. Well, here we are. Don't worry, I'm not going to make it too weird or anything. Actually, what's that? She is gorgeous. See, you made it weird for us. There you go.
And thank you all for being here. Oh my God.
Thank you for being here. You know, this, as I said, this is your first Comic-Con. This is your, welcome to the craziness, the rodeo and everything. What are some of the things that have struck you so far about this event? Like, things that you just entirely did not expect?
Well, I didn't really come in with any expectations.
Yeah.
I think one of the coolest things about this is that we can all enter into a building and we can forget about everything on the outside and all the craziness of the world, and we can just be together and look at each other's in our eyes and just like enjoy that. We love Star Wars, we love all this other different things that you guys all love that I'm finding out. And it's just really nice to just be together. It feels like we entered into a whole different world when we entered into this building. So I've loved that part.
Yeah.
Because as soon as we leave, it seems like life just hits us hard, and it's like for a day or 2 days, we just get to exist together, and I like that.
Well said. I 100% agree. The thing I love about the Comic-Con scene is, look, I love sports, but even if you're a massive fan of a sports team, it ultimately is, one team versus another team, right? You enter into a Comic-Con and it's like, all right, you're in Star Wars, you're in Star Trek, you're in that anime, that comic book, whatever it might be, but we're all mutually kind of coming together to celebrate and love that thing. Love all the things.
Yeah, we're here because we love art, and we love storytelling, and we love all different types of art, and it's just really something cool that we can, anybody and everywhere from anywhere in the world can identify with art. That's why I really love art and I love storytelling, is that anybody can be a part of it.
Mm-hmm. See any cool cosplay or anything?
I had a lot of Cara Dune.
Yeah.
And I had one little Cara Dune, and she's like, I'm coming for your job. I'm like, oh wow. Pretty sure it's available.
But man, with that kind of attitude, that little kid She's on the right track, I guess, for Hollywood, right?
She's like competition.
Yeah.
I just posted our picture yesterday and she came back for another I'm coming for you. Right, okay.
She's like, and now you owe me 10% for that picture you posted without my permission. There's so much to talk about with your career. This seems like maybe a silly question, but I haven't been in the ring. I haven't experienced what you've experienced. I'm just kind of curious about after that very first match, that first MMA fight, when it's done, what is like the immediate thing going through your mind? Especially when you win, is it pride? Is it pain? What is that initial thought?
My very first MMA fight, I felt like, oh my gosh.
Thank you.
Thank you. Cheers.
Thank you so much, yes. It's gonna be that kind of party, guys.
Let's find out about these. These are delicious. My first. We are.
That sounded really good on the microphone.
But I got too much better.
I know, yeah. We need to
Your hands are busy. I think my first MMA fight, I just thought, oh my gosh, you're an animal. What happened? Like, why did you do that? Because that fight ended up lasting like 36 seconds, and I just pummeled her. I was like, oh my gosh, my mom is going to kill me. But my mom, like, she's a tough woman. So to all the incredible moms out there, you're raising tough women to fight this future, so good job to them.
Yeah.
And guys, you're not domestic terrorists. You're amazing. You're making this the heartbeat of America nice and solid. So. Yeah, so I just thought, oh my gosh, I just damaged that woman. I want to do it again.
Was that immediate, like right after I damaged her, and like, but it was also pretty great.
The good thing about, I think, professional fighting is it's like, it doesn't come, like you're not fighting somebody on the internet. You're training for someone, who's training for you. So there's a respect level there. It's not like, I've been in plenty of street fights when I was younger, so I always felt embarrassed about those because it's always emotions that drive those, right? But when it comes to training for someone, you're going to give them respect by showing them the best version of themselves. And so, professional fighting to me, I don't know why it's something that just straightened my entire life out. Something that college didn't do, or any role models didn't do. Professional fighting to me was like, I have to be whoever I am at that moment in the cage, and you can't rely on anybody else.
How does being underestimated fuel you? Like, how is that like a tool, a weapon you can add to your arsenal?
Well, so I don't, being underestimated is awesome, because then there's room for surprise. But I also learned not to underestimate anybody else, big, small, no matter where you come from, you can be faced in like the fight of your life, so. That's how I find that fighters fight people the way they fear to be fought, which, is how I fought. I was always really nervous to fight a fighter that was like smart and calculated and, and technically like savage.
Yeah. When it comes to actors and you're doing stunts, it's a very different scenario. When you're in the ring, it is a fight. And when you're with an actor, it's choreographed, and it is a different thing. They should be pulling punches, they shouldn't be. And yet, I would imagine maybe some actors feel like they have something to prove when they're doing stunts with you, or maybe they wanna show off a little bit. I don't know. Have you had experiences where you go into a fight scene and the actor perhaps goes a little too hard? No?
No. Actually, most actors, I feel like I do my own stunts.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly, there's certain ones I can't do, but when it comes to fighting, that's all 100% me. And I feel like it's my job to protect them. So, they basically are relying on me to be the physical professional. And it's really nice because then actors turn around and then they end up taking care of me when it comes, they have for a decade now taken care of me when it comes to the acting part. So it's like, it ends up being not so egotistical, it ends up having a nice flow. Because I know a lot of actors on actors that compete with each other. But when it comes to me, I would just rather it just go smooth and we all can succeed in life. So it doesn't mean that competition is not there, but it means that we're all just taking care of each other.
Yeah.
I've had a really interesting and special experience that way. So I make sure to keep everybody safe.
Did I read that, out of the people that you fought against, or had stunts against, who were the most, I don't want to get you in trouble with any of your co-stars, but who are some actors that really bring it when it comes to those fight sequences?
Oh yeah. My favorites, oh gosh,
I know, it's tough picking favorites,
it's
but
really hard. Like with Haywire, I had such incredible actors, and Michael Fassbender was the first.
Yeah.
Michael Fassbender's fight in the hotel room was my favorite fight.
It was a great fight.
Those were fake walls, and we almost took down the wall. It was incredible, and he brought it every second of the way, over and over. And actually, the 2 days we shot that action sequence, we were both stomach sick. So there was a lot going on. Channing Tatum was incredible, so passionate. I was like, oh my gosh, he's big. So, and athletic, and obviously he does the dancing and everything, but when he saw me in my back, and I was like, there's only so many times that can happen. So Channing was even Giancarlo, he was so incredible. He was like, yeah, push me down. And I was like, are you sure? And he's like, yeah, I like it. This is good. So I've been really fortunate. None of the actors that I've come into contact with have really ever shied away, or I like it to be like a dance.
Yeah. But Giancarlo's here this weekend, right?
I know, I haven't seen him. I've been looking for him everywhere.
Isn't that the funny thing? That the cons are all in one space, but everybody is kind of off doing their own thing. So you just got to catch up with him at some point before you go.
He is so beautiful.
Yeah.
He's such a beautiful person.
Well, and he really had some lovely things to say about your performance on The Mandalorian. I think one of the words he said was raw, but very emotional, and really nice, high praise. Are those moments, when was the first time you kind of had that feeling of sort of affirmation from a fellow actor who was like, wow, okay, you're really good, and how did that make you feel?
Well, I think it was, again, Michael Fassbender, because he was the first actor I ever read lines with. I just ended up being in Ireland, and, I was like, I've never read lines with an actor before. And he was like, put a whiskey down in front of me. He was like, okay, we're doing this fast, we're doing this slow. We're doing it all sorts of different ways. And I was like, oh my gosh, okay. And I didn't know who he was. He actually hit it really big after that, but he was just, So he said, you know what, you're kind of a classic. A lot of people go outward, and they overact. And with me, I go way inward. So some directors will be like, just scream it. Just scream it, and then we'll go backwards. And I'm like, I don't want to. So I go inward, and then build up to coming out to that.
There's a lot of power in that kind of inward and quiet approach.
It's torture. Gosh, it's not on purpose.
Who are some of the actors that, when you were a little kid, or even when you first started pursuing acting as this part of your career, who were some of the actors you were looking at?
Who was on my wall?
Yeah.
I had a wall. There's only 2 people on it.
Okay.
Johnny Depp.
Angelina Jolie. Okay. Which was it, Captain? Well, no, it wouldn't be. Which character of Johnny?
Crybaby.
Crybaby. Okay. So you were John Warner. Right on. And then when you started pursuing it as a career, who were people that you're kind of checking out and being like, you know, I like what they're doing, I like the approach of their career, where they're going?
So that's interesting. I've never like followed anybody's like career and tried to model my life after that because I don't know, even in fighting, they're like, you know, whose career? I'm like, no, I just gotta do this on my own because I don't think anybody's got my mind, so I don't necessarily look at somebody how they did it and try to emulate it. I think I like this, I like this, I'm gonna make it all me. So I don't know if that answers your question.
No, it does. Now do you find yourself, like, in your head, do you call yourself an actor? Do you feel like an actor now?
Hell yeah.
Yeah?
That's wild for me to actually say that.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I want to be an actor, and I want to create film, and I want to tell stories, and I plan on doing it no matter if I'm canceled or not.
So, is there truth to the story that you initially, when you were cast on The Mandalorian, or when you were in talks for it, that you believed you were going to be a Wookiee?
Yes.
Can you tell me more about this?
I was like, okay. I got the phone call that Jon Favreau wants to meet you, and I was like, okay, that's huge. And at that time, you know, I don't really follow people's careers, so I was like, he's a producer and a director. I didn't even know he directed Elf. I was so clueless.
Oh, yeah.
I'm still clueless.
Well, he had a wild career, yeah.
Yeah, so I went and I saw him, and I was like, whatever this man tosses at me, I am going to do. And I was like, well, I might be short, but like, I probably would like love to dress up and all of that for, and, like, maybe that's why they want me in like the background or something. Regardless, it's just gonna be incredible to meet Jon Favreau. And so that's in my head I went in, and then when I went in and he showed me, you know, he's like, do you know why you're here? And I was like, I have no idea. But here's a bottle of wine, and I'm a fan.
You brought wine to the meeting?
I just bought my family's wine.
Oh, yeah.
Plug. No, they don't own it anymore, but my grandfather. Anyways, long story. Okay, so I just said, you know, it's great to meet you. I didn't know if I had any job, and he was like, well, you're here for Star Wars. And I was like, what? Like, my introduction to Star Wars was with my stepdad. My stepdad would always be watching these really cool things on TV, and he was watching Star Wars, and he was a big fan of that. My real dad is like, he's way too busy. Every time he's fallen asleep in premieres, like, and it just like kicks up his speed. So my stepdad introduced it to me as well as like Indiana Jones and Flashdance. Like, I was like, wow, this is amazing, a whole new world. So I kind of got a little bit of culture there. So yeah, totally forgot your question. What was it?
Sorry, I was pouring this into my cup and I lost track of my question as well. Wookiee. You thought you were going to be a Wookiee, and then how that played out.
Yeah, and then I was like looking on the inspirational boards when Jon Favreau was taking me through all the inspirational boards, and he came to this woman with really short hair, and he was like, what do you think? And I was like, she looks badass. Like, she's got like one of the only faces in this, you know, little inspirational board. He's like, well, that's you. And I was like, I don't have anything covering my face. I don't have a helmet. I don't have a Wookiee costume. And he was, yeah, God bless him. He was really excited about Cara Dune.
At the moment, I'm going to set this camera. It's getting awkward. At the moment, there's so many things to handle. At the moment that you did think you were going to be a Wookiee, that brief moment, was there a Wookiee like roar or sound in your head that you're like, all right, well, this is how I'm going to approach Wookiee-dom?
No, but does somebody want to do a Wookiee sound? Do one of them want to do
Well done. I wasn't going to make you do it. I was just curious if you had
I felt like that's where we were going.
Oh, no,
so I
I
totally
I would never do that to you, but
Something really weird's gonna come out, and I just want to torture everyone with that.
I mean, I have a Wookiee roar inside. I mean, we all have a Wookiee roar.
It would be so awkward. I have a knack of making things awkward, so.
But, kind of...
I'll go practice it, though.
We'll practice Wookiee roars backstage. It's actually really cool that you mention Indiana Jones, because it didn't really connect with me until this exact moment, but Raiders of the Lost Ark, there's obviously the swagger of Harrison Ford, and there is a scene after he believes Marion had died. He's in a bar, and he's kind of just like hanging there, and the bad guys come in. And your introduction in The Mandalorian, it just struck me as this very cool vibe in a cantina, very almost Indiana Jones, like I think, like, at least in my head, like, just legs sort of kicked up slightly, not giving a crap, but also very much ready for action. Talk about that initial moment where we meet that character and what was going through your head and the physicality that you wanted to put into it. Thank you.
Well, I really found the character with Jon Favreau.
Yeah.
He told me, he was like, if I was going to be somebody in this series, I want to be your character. And so, he really worked with me on confidence and relaxing and really kind of like understanding that you're the badass here, and you're also the person that doesn't give a, like you're looking out for yourself, you're on knees. And so obviously I'm a person who really cares. I care tremendously about people. I get nervous to do things like this, and so Cara Dune was everything opposite of that. She had to be comfortable in her skin, she had to be strong and accept that strength. And by playing her, I really felt like I actually did in real life. I wasn't hired as like, you have to be the female or the male unit. Like, I was hired to be the soldier and to be the one with experience and to be this rogue character and strength. And by playing her, I felt strength. And I think that's actually really changed my life for the better. So Cara Dune has been a character that transformed the strength that I had somewhere in here, and it started coming out throughout the last 2 years, and I feel really good about that.
Again, great character arc, but also really great introduction and really great moment, because it just conveys so much about is those little things that convey so much about who she is and who she's going to be.
Bryce Dallas Howard directed that episode, and it was so funny because when you're acting, usually you're in your eye line. Nobody's supposed to be in your eye line, but it was funny. Jon Favreau and Bryce Dallas Howard were standing there right in my eye line. Not for that scene, but when me and Amanda were talking, and I could just see them and I'm nervous, just like I'm always young, but I'm doing my part and really feeling good about it. And I could just see them celebrating. I'm this is distracting, but it's fun. So at least I know where they stand. They're excited about it, so it was cool.
The world of The Mandalorian is very much it has a Wild West vibe to it, but you just wrapped filming on an actual Wild West movie.
Yes, yeah.
Tell us a little bit about it. It's Terror on the
Terror on the Prairie.
Prairie, sorry.
So what happened was when I got to, I moved out of California, moved into an RV, and I took my time to get over to Tennessee because I wanted to do this movie with the Daily Wire. Ben Shapiro, once I got canceled. He offered me, he's like, no, you can't take this, lying down. He's like, you have to punch back. So I was like, all right, I'm down for punching. So he said, I'll do a movie with you. And then it came with all this other stuff, and I was like, well, now it's getting a lot. Can we just do the movie? He's like, yes, we can of course just do the movie. So I moved out of California, moved into an RV, went over to Nashville. When I got there, we were gonna plan on doing this movie called White Knuckle. And I didn't know they were shooting that DJ Caruso shut-in movie right before me, and they were having to play White the SAG-AFTRA rules, which is like, you know, testing every single day, and like, they asked me, they're like, are you comfortable with, you know, the testing every day and the masks and all of that? And I just am not. I'm not comfortable making anybody do anything that they don't want to do. Yeah, so you're not alone. So they said, well, then we aren't going to be able to do a SAG-AFTRA movie. We're going to have to go non-union. And I said, okay, let's go non-union. And they're like, you're okay with that? I'm like, well, it's better than being in an environment where everybody has to be forced to do something that they don't want to do. And so I was like, okay, let's go do it non-union. And that put our budget in half. And we attracted some of the most incredible people who wanted to just, you know, people who are vaccinated or wanted to wear a mask, but they didn't want to force anybody else to. So everybody on our set was from everywhere all over the world and from every walks of life and all different beliefs. And we went over up to Montana and we made a movie on a free set in the middle of all of this craziness. And it's one of my most proud moments because it wasn't an easy decision to make, but had I decided, like, the whole problem was if I would have said yes, I'm okay with this, then at any time SAG-AFTRA could have mandated the vaccine and then everybody that was working could have lost their job. So that means that they're only going to hire one group of people. And I thought, that's discrimination, it's awful. So I decided we are going to, as hard as all this is, we're going to make a free set, and we made a passionate, heartfelt, cool movie. It's got no agenda, it's not political, it's just a Western.
You ride horses in it?
Yes, I grew up with horses. I used to do barrel racing in gymkhanas in Las Vegas. Yeah, I think there's something really special about horses. Once you get on them, they know every energy in your body.
Mm-hmm.
So horses are, they might be my spirit animal.
Yeah?
Yeah.
They're powerful,
What's
they're
yours?
aggressive, they're like, what's my spirit animal?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Canadian bear!
I don't know, Jeff Goldblum.
That's good.
I wish. Probably, I don't know, I like reptiles. I mean, I like all animals, but I definitely have a dig reptiles. Plus, from the Harry Potter world, definitely a Slytherin. I'm a Scorpio, I was born in the year of the snake. I'm a nice guy.
I can see all that.
Thank you, I think.
No, I mean, like, all things have their beauty.
Thank you, Gina, for saying even I have some beauty in me. I appreciate that. You want to take a couple questions before we roll out of here? Yeah? Lance, do we have or Brenda, a floating mic or anything? Please.
Thank you all for sitting here. This is awesome.
Just keep it. We only got about 9 minutes. Okay, so keep it super chill. And one question per person. I'm originally from Orlando, and I'm a proud Floridian, even though I don't live here. Don't get too weird on me, guys. All right, Lance, you pick him. Yeah, you pick it. The man with the hat. That's Tallahassee up there.
Hi. By the way, I'm a huge fan. Being a female wrestler, because I wrestled all through high school and everything like that, how do you think that affected the way that you were portrayed as an actor? And how do you feel that affects the way that you're viewed as a woman in your roles?
I think you can definitely get pigeonholed a little bit. You know, like, oh, this is just an action person. But when you really look at it, like, my favorite movie is Pride and Prejudice with Colin Firth. I know, and Anna Green Gable. It's like, I do love my Braveheart and my Last of the Mohicans and all of that, but yeah, I really am like a more dramatic, I think, story-driven person. So I do get like a little bit pigeonholed in just playing the action stuff. But then I'll do something non-action. I was like, oh my gosh, I can't wait to go back and kick some ass. I got a lot of shit I need to get out. Yeah, so, but I'm really like proud of my work here because I feel like other women can, you know, when you see me, I think that you can really believe that that can happen, which it can. And that's what's cool about me bringing action to life on film. It's like, I can do that shit, you know, so let's go.
Thank you. Good question. Do some traveling, Lance. Go somewhere. Yeah, there you go.
Oh my God, I love you, Gina.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. What is your absolute favorite film that you've ever filmed?
Okay, so I think there's nothing that compares to your first, right? So Haywire was definitely, Haywire was my first, and funny enough, The Mandalorian was my close second. So if I had to pick two, I'd say Haywire is a movie and The Mandalorian is a series.
Thank you. See, isn't that a lot of pressure having to pick who's going to ask the question? Choose, but choose wisely.
Hi. I was wondering, since you said that you work with people from all walks of life, do you have to set some personal boundaries for like some hot, like button topics that, you know, make you very anxious, or are you like just like you're okay talking about it to a certain point type thing?
No, I mean, I'll talk about, I'm pretty honest. I'll talk about whatever. I don't really come out and, you know, I like memes. So this is but what I figured is this year, you really can't get a good solid read off of someone when they're, you know, posting on social media. And after the 2.5 years that we've all been through, you really can't tell what a person is or who a person is until you meet them and hug them and see their eyes in person. So I felt like this year, more than ever, people needed to be seen, and they needed to hug, and they needed to understand that life doesn't exist in all of this propaganda. It exists right here in this room with us looking at each other and being together. And, you know, we all don't believe the same things. We all don't think the same things, but that's okay. We don't have to. When you're online, it feels like we all, you know, take sides, and it becomes this massive, like, game, and it really doesn't have to be that way, because I guarantee everybody in this room has a different set of history, and so we're all different, and that's actually the best thing about life. If we were all the same, what the hell is this for?
Absolutely.
Social media does create a weird distance between people. It's supposed to bring us together, but it does make us less personal and more anonymous, and creates distance.
Yeah, and we can stop that though. I think we're just learning, it's a learning curve, right? So our current generation right now is going through learning how to communicate more honestly online. And so we're in a hard learning curve, but I do believe on the other side of that, you're going to start seeing people understand. We can have conversations, we can disagree, and it's okay.
We're only about 20 years into social media as a thing, and less than 20 years of like iPhones and smartphones. We are children.
The thing we do have to do is we have to protect other people's right to disagree instead of censoring and shutting people down and canceling.
All right, I think we only have time for this last question, right, Lance? Is this about time? Yeah. So, okay, final question. Is it, oh, it's a young person. Great. Hi.
What made you want to act?
Very good question.
Thank you. I never did want to. But I did know that, so everybody, when you're professional fighting for a living, everybody thinks, oh, when are you gonna go Hollywood? Like, Hollywood is just the easiest thing to do. And I always said to myself, you know, the right person's gonna find me, and the right person did, and it happened to be an incredible filmmaker, Steven Soderbergh. And they were just watching one of my fights one night, and I don't think I won that one, that was a bad one. But his wife said to him, you know, well, you got some time off here, why don't you make an action movie that looks legit with that girl? And I had a 4-hour conversation with him in Coronado, San Diego, and you know, my mom was like, honey, you know, like, director, you're gonna go meet a director, make sure that, you know, like, he's not weird. Remember, he's a director in Hollywood, and I'm like, wow, I got a black eye from the fight that I lost. I'm like, I got this, okay? Oh no, you raised a strong woman. I'm not gonna like go and like get crazy. And we had a really nice sit down, and he just said, hey, I'm gonna make this happen really fast. It'll happen really fast or not at all. And 4 days later, they didn't even have a script at the time. 4 days later, they had 2 studios vibing for it, and that's kind of the example of my life, and what I want to encourage everybody to do, just keep your mind open and don't sell out. Stay true to yourselves. You know, the world's going to go through its own trends, but what we can do is listen to your gut instinct, listen to your heart. And that won't change no matter what what the politics are doing or what Hollywood's doing. If you stay true, you stay grounded, you let them freak out, and you can stay right balanced where you're at and let them do hula hoops around you. So that's why I really want I'm not sure if this is how things go, but this is normal.
As far as my young friend over there who asked a question, what's her name? Thank you, Jordan, for the very good question. We appreciate it.
She's going to be a professional cosplayer when she gets older, right? That's what she told me in line.
And the other one's coming for your job, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is going to be a tough role.
Yeah.
I'm already just like, okay, I'm Betty White. I'm just going to just be Betty White in my mind now. The next generation's already here. I'm just going to be an old lady now. Still throw a match.
Orlando, MEGACON, you guys have been great. And are you going back to
Yeah, I'm gonna go back to the autograph table, and I have to just thank you all.
Yes.
Thank you all to the Welcome to the Rebellion, the tour we're doing this year. Thanks to gamers and Tokyo and everybody for the support that you've shown me online. I appreciate you all, and thank you for, you know, being the lizard you are.
Well, guys, this is this lady's first Comic-Con, so I want you to make a lot of noise as we exit her out of here. Give it up!